Yes, yes, yes. It's the Raphael Dawkins with the Combat Radio. And my. Joyce only went and done it. He only went and done it. Okay, so people saying that Joyce was going to take it. More people were saying that Daniel Dubois was going to take it. Me, I said Daniel Dubois early, Joyce late. Why did I say that? Well, it's because Joyce has got more experience. Went to the Olympics in Rio de Janeiro. Yeah, you know, the Olympics where all that mugging was going on. And I was taking money that should have been spent on bettering the infrastructure for the poor, for the millions, hundreds of millions of poor people over in Brazil, and they took that money and they invested it in an Olympic Games. And remember all that controversy when the apartments for the athletes wasn't fixed up right. They had all kind of issues with the plumbing. But anyway, that's a different story. But that's the story of Joyce. That's Joyce was there. And so he is a decorated amateur, an Olympic medalist. What was a silver medalist? Many people say he should have got the gold medal. So effectively, we're talking about a silver medalist who should have got a gold medal. So the guy knows his way around the ring. And let's not forget that he was mixed it up. He was in there with Alexander Usyk. Yeah, he lost. He lost to Usyk that time. But we get back to that in a second. But this video is focused on the moment that Joyce finished Daniel Dubois. Without much further ado, let's take a look at that moment. Okay. Uh-oh. Boom. Daniel Dubois landed a punch, but he got a punch in the eye, his left eye, which was already closed. Uh-oh. It was already closed, and he knew that he was open now. He was open now to that jab of Joyce. And that was the tale of this fight, the jab of Joyce. Don't get it twisted. He was getting lit up at times by Daniel Dubois, but Daniel Dubois couldn't be consistent in lighting up Joyce. The difference was the jab. The jab, which basically from, I think, early out, what was it, 3 in the third round, Daniel Dubois was already marked up around both eyes. But the left eye in particular, that started swelling up by the repeated jab of Joyce. You know, everybody's telling me that Joyce is slow, and I said bullish. If Joyce is slow, how come he keeps on punching people in the face? And it came to pass that Joyce, over the period of rounds, just touched him up regularly, frequently, touched him up in the face with the allegedly slow hands, which are not slow, and closed Daniel Dubois' left eye. Caught him there, and Daniel Dubois took the knee. Joyce could see it coming, and so he turns and walks away. He could see it coming, I could see it coming. I told you early on in the fight, I think it was as early as round 3, I said Joyce is going to slowly and methodically win this fight with one punch, and that's the jab. Do not underestimate the jab. Made Daniel Dubois take a knee with his closed eye. He knew there was no coming back from that. Fighting with one eye, it's tricky, not impossible, but very, very tricky. Okay. Daniel Dubois is looking to his corner. I can't see out my eye. I can't see out my left eye. And by the time the referee returns, it's probably already at 8. Probably already at the count of 8. Fight is effectively over. What is it? What's it left? How many seconds left? Okay, referee stands up, waves off the fight. And Daniel Dubois raises to his feet and goes back to his corner. And that's the moment Daniel Dubois lost the fight. fighting with one eye, couldn't do it. When he took that last shot there, it was effectively all over. The juggernaut prevails. 35-year-old, 36-year-old Joyce raises his hand in a victory. Victory is mine. Respect your elders. That's what Joyce told Daniel Dubois. After this fight, you're going to respect your elders. And the very experienced Joyce emerges victorious. Victory is mine. Victory is mine. Okay, so what's the takeaway from this fight? The takeaway is that do not underestimate the jab, and I don't want to hear anyone talking no crapola about telling me about Joyce is slow. Is he Eckers like? Is he Eckers like? He has a very effective jab, very underrated, and he keeps it moving. It keeps on sticking and moving, keeps on sticking it and sticking it and sticking it. And Daniel Dubois fell victim to that. And some people say, well, what next? What next for Daniel? Well, it's rebuilding. He knows he's never lost before as a professional, and now he knows what he needs to go and work on. In the meantime, Joyce, the next part of the story is that Joyce calls out Alexander Povetkin. Some of you will recall that Joyce lost to Alexander Usyk. And some of you will remember that Joyce lost to Usyk in the amateurs. And he is now eager to avenge that loss. So will it be a repeat or revenge? Joyce versus Alexander Usyk. I look forward to that fight. How does that fight come about? Well, if Anthony Joshua drops the WBO to fight Tyson Fury after he hopefully dispatches Kubrat Pulev, then Alexander Usyk will be fighting for that belt. And then the question becomes, well, who does he fight for the belt? Because it would have been Daniel Dubois prior to this. But since Daniel Dubois has fallen victim to the jab of Joyce, then does Joyce get moved up to number 2 spot? The number 2 spot, which was previously occupied by Daniel Dubois, or does New Zealand, Samoa's Joseph Parker, does he move up from WBO number 3 to WBO number 2? Because it's going to be logically a fight between number 1, Alexander Usyk, and number 2. Who will be number 2? Is it going to be Parker or the Juggernaut? And that will be a very, very interesting proposition. Either way, if it's Usyk versus Parker, that's going to be a good one. And if it's Usyk versus the Juggernaut, that too will be a good one. It will be repeat or revenge. And what for Daniel Dubois? Well, for Daniel Dubois, it's a simple rebuild. Well, it's a rebuild job, isn't it? It's a rebuild job. How to get away from the jab and hook, dip, slip, hook, yeah, or parry and hook. Parry, slip, and hook. So Daniel Dubois has things to work on, but it's by no means the end of the road for Daniel Dubois. It's a simple, well, let's keep on saying simple. It's a rebuild job. It's a modification job for Daniel Dubois and for the Juggernaut. It's onwards and upwards. It's got some interesting opportunities out there. Guy's 35, 36, or maybe he should have won. Maybe he deserved to win. Well, he clearly deserved to win because he won. So the heavyweight boxing scene just got a little bit more interesting. Many permutations for us to be discussing over the coming weeks and months. Okay, what say you? It's the Raphael Dawkins, it's the Combat Radio, it's the like, it's the subscribe, it's the comments, it's the shares, and it is the hitting that bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. And don't forget about the live show. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget that the Juggernaut has risen up the WBO ranks, and he may be next to fight Alexander Usyk. Let's see. It's Raphael Dawkins, Combat Radio. It's the Juggernaut, and I'm